you are going to give Bobcat fans heart attacks.
Yeah.
It has certainly been an interesting ride, no question about it. And through the good and maybe just a little sliver of not so good, this has been an interesting ride this year. The Bobcats last week did lose at Western Michigan, dropped the ball game 90-74. Ohio did win in heroic fashion over Miami on Saturday, down 15, down 18, win by 7, 82-75. What a wild ride those two games were, weren't they, Coach?
Yeah, it's amazing when you think about it because it's just one of those things. Some things you just can't explain. So we played unbelievably well the first 10 minutes of Western, and then really just played awfully from that point on, and kind of reversed it against Miami. So maybe it's how we have to time it. I have no idea. But
in reviewing the film, what was it that was special on Saturday that clicked for you, that enabled you to get the win?
I mean, the formula for us has been simple all year long. I mean, possessions that we take care of the ball and get shots, and then we got to get consecutive stops so we can get out and run. I mean, those are big things. When we were not playing well in the second half of Western Michigan, the first half of that game, and in reality, in the Toledo game, we gave up 24 points in transition against Toledo. They had 24 points off our turnovers at Western. And in the first half of that game, our transition defense was bad. And it's not overall defense, it's number of easy baskets. If you look at the last 3 games, we've given up way, way too many easy baskets. So the pace of the game isn't the way we want it. Our defense is not playing the way we want it because of that. So we've got to try to eliminate those situations, and then offensively keep doing the things we can to get our better players the ball in spots they can play.
How has the offseason been for you? How has the transition from year 1 to year 2 been for you?
It's been good. We've made a lot of progress with our players in regards to just how we want to do things and culture of the team and those sorts of things. We had several new players join us this year, 17 to be exact. So we've spent a lot of time just on team chemistry and trying to get the returning players meshed with the new players, and I think we've had a lot of success doing that so far.
You had 9 wins of Mid-American Conference play last year and 14 total on the season, but I think the most important thing about last year and moving into year 2 for you is just setting the foundation of how you want your guys to play.
It is, and I think we made a lot of progress from that last year. And, I think with this building process, it's you can't look at it as a 12-month process. It's not a one-year thing. You have to see a bigger picture. And so there's certain phases and certain stages to it that you have to go through. And I think last year we were able to establish how we wanted to do things. I think we've made a lot of progress in building our roster and upgrading our talent. And so now we're looking forward to this second year to take those players out and build upon where we did last year.
Your youth movement's going to be interesting to see this year, couple-fold, because of the injuries. For one, you want to see how your guys play from the jump.
It will be. We do have a lot of young players. When you talk about our potential starting rotation, we have 5 kids that we're looking at right now, and 3 of them are freshmen, 2 of them are sophomores. So it's a young group there. We're looking at a possible freshman closer. And on certain days, we'll have all freshmen up the middle behind the plate, and 2 in the middle infield and 1 in center field. So there'll be a lot of young players on the field, but with youth sometimes comes mistakes, but also comes, I think, a hunger to play and prove themselves, and I think sometimes that's a positive too.
Your pitching staff, you have a pitching background. Talk about your pitching staff and really from back end to front, you're a bullpen guy and building your staff around the guys that close out the ball game.
We are, yeah, and as we've assessed our arms, we've been able to put a couple of our really, really good arms in the back side of that thing. We're excited about Corey Wells, who's a freshman, who's potentially going to be our closer. Nick Narcy, who's a junior college kid that we've also put into that back end part of our bullpen, and so those 2 guys are going to be real effective. Logan Kozart comes back, who pitched in more games than anybody last year in the conference. So those guys are all going to be, solid for us. And then you look at some of the other guys that we put back there, Spencer Satt, Jeremy Kronk, are also going to be good contributors for us, along with Brad Prosbita. So we've got 6 guys we really, really like. They bring a lot of different looks, a lot of different arm angles. And, if we can let our starters get us into the game, we're not going to ask them to do much other than maybe go 5 innings. And once they do that, we'll turn the game over to these other guys and let them go with it.
Let's revisit what the difference was in your mind in that contest. It just seemed like it was a couple of possessions. Why were you able to win then and Toledo wasn't?
Well, I think a lot of things happened down the stretch. I thought we made some huge plays, got some big baskets. Again, the one thing about it was it was one of those games where I think who had the ball last was going to win the game, and we were able to be fortunate enough to have a lead and force them into a tough shot at the end to win it, and then made free throws. But it was a game of runs both ways, and I think this game's the same way because you have two teams who are could be capable of being very explosive offensively, and if that happens, then runs go on.